Okay, it's the Hannity and Radio program. As we do this every day, as we broadcast live out of our flagship station, AM 920 WMEL. Hey, on our phone lines, old friend of mine, Bruce Fenton, who is a political commentator up north out of Massachusetts. He's also the editor of his own, the Fenton online newsletter. Is that how do you produce, which covers economics? Bruce, what's the name of your online newspaper?
It's the Fenton Report.
The Fenton Report. Hey, Bruce, good talking. How's everything going?
Great to hear from you, Ed.
Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on, and it is amazing because I watched the CNBC special. I've been meaning to talk about this for the past couple weeks. The CNBC special was showing that as much as Americans may have this not this impression in their mind, but it's something that we believe to be real, that the Middle East is nothing but a mirage of terrorists, which is really there's more out there, that really can American interests be placed out there for all these countries who seem to help out, like Kuwait and Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, that the overwhelming majority of them vote against us like 80% of the time at the UN. But we had talked about this because there was a CNBC special on Dubai, and if we all recall, and I was one of those that did not support the president's idea of giving security to a foreign country. You had gone over there over the weekend, and from what the CNBC special had reported and what you and I were talking about, which we will talk about right now for a few moments, that it is a haven for business interest. Give me the take about that.
Absolutely. Dubai is definitely the Middle East we don't know. It is a completely different thing than what most Americans think about. Most Americans, like you said, we think of the Middle East as being terrorist and poor and against America. And Dubai is not like that at all. Dubai is very much in line with our own values, even more than we are in some ways.
Bruce Fenton, of course, who is the Fenton Report's online newsletter, which talks a lot of economic surveys and economic policies here and news in the country. Is this going to be like the next China or the next Mexico? We're sending our jobs in manufacturing companies left and right down to Mexico and to China. And relatively, I must admit that they do that because of the regulations put on by the government. Even though I'm not a fan of these companies going south, I'm not a fan of trade deals. Is it just an opening haven for new interests, or are American companies sending businesses overseas to outsource in Dubai?
In Dubai, they're not. It's outsourcing is not a thing that you see a lot of. But you do see a lot of the smart American companies, the Microsofts, the Ciscos, other companies moving in there because it is a regional hub. There isn't another major city like it anywhere in the world, and especially in the Middle East. So it's a really important strategic area with its proximity to China and India and the whole Middle East, which is an area that we in America just completely ignore when it comes to business.
Why do you think we ignore it? Because of the media reporting that it's, again, as you told me before, this is not a place where you go where you get your head cut off. Is that because of the media reporting, or we all just have a predetermined mindset that when we think of Middle East, we think of people that still continue to live in the Stone Age?
The thing that we're blessed with in this country is a great nation with plenty of things to do and plenty of natural resources. We just don't think globally in America. Only 15% of us even own passports. And that's different than the rest of the world. So the reason I think that we tend to lump Dubai in with the other countries in the Middle East is because we're just not aware of it. We haven't been there. We tend to think of the region as one big country, and nothing could be further from the truth.
Again, on our phone lines is my friend Bruce Fenton, who is the editor of the Fenton Report, which is a wealth management magazine that covers a lot of economic policies, economic news here in the country. What is the take on this? I saw what was going on CNBC. Is this going to be like, if you recall, you remember how Lebanon was? Lebanon was called the Pearl of the Middle East until it was overtaken by that of Syria. Is this right now the new Pearl of the Middle East in Dubai?
Oh, I think so, absolutely. It's amazing when you go there. They have the world's finest hotel. They're building the world's tallest building, the world's biggest airport. They have cities within the city that are special economic and financial zones with tax benefits and all kinds of other things to attract multinational corporations. And it's very progressive, and it's ultra modern, and there's virtually no crime there. It's a really amazing place.
But we still have reported that the Arab Emirates over there, Dubai, Qatar, those countries that, as you have said, that are open to have a new American business interest in there, that they still on the realm of areas where they still support that of Al-Qaeda and terrorism. Do you not think that because that the terrorists do not want Western civilization over there or Western democracy, and again, I'm just playing devil's advocate, I'm not saying this is true, and I don't believe this at all, but some people would believe that if more American interests go over there, if these countries continue to, quote, move out of the Stone Age, which the terrorists do not want them to do, isn't an invitation motivation for the terrorists to go after more Americans and more American businesses are going over there?
Well, there's two things. One, the better business does and the better Dubai does, that's better for the world. Because if you believe in our way of life, then you've got to believe in the Dubai way of life, because they're just as capitalist and just as business-friendly as we are. And the second thing is, just because they're in a region that we associate with terrorism doesn't mean that they're terrorists. It's just like there's a big difference from where you are in Florida versus Nicaragua and Mexico City and Haiti and Cuba. Even though they're relatively close, they're very, very different places, and we don't tend to recognize that as Americans. But Dubai is very, very different than what we think of as the rest of the Middle East.